Kody Brown has faced drama before, but nothing like this. And according to multiple insiders, this time, he didn't see it coming. Not even a little. Today, we're diving into what sources are calling Kody Brown's most unexpected and humiliating crisis to date, a situation so intense, so revealing, that fans are saying his reaction alone tells the entire story. And trust me, what you're about to hear will change the way you see this man forever. It all started quietly, almost too quietly. People close to the Brown family say Kody had been acting strange for weeks. Irritated. Restless. Constantly checking his phone. Pulling away from conversations. Walking around the house like a storm cloud ready to explode. But nobody expected this. According to one insider, Kody received a message that sent him into a panic, something so shocking that he reportedly froze, stared at the screen, and whispered just one word, no. Nobody knew what he saw. Nobody knew what triggered him. But one thing was clear, whatever it was, it hit him harder than anything he'd faced in years. Even Robin, who usually stays calm, reportedly asked him 3 times, Kody, what happened? What is it? But he didn't answer. Not at first. Witnesses say he sat down, put his hands on his face, and let out a long, shaky breath, the kind of breath a person takes right before everything falls apart. What followed next shocked even the people who know him best. And that's where our story truly begins. The moment Kody finally lifted his head, everything changed. According to someone who witnessed the moment, his face looked completely drained, like someone had pulled the life right out of him. This wasn't anger. This wasn't frustration. This was fear. Pure, unfiltered fear. Robin tried again, this time softer, Kody, please. Tell me what's going on. And finally, he spoke. But not clearly. Not fully. Just enough to make the entire room freeze. He muttered, they're coming after me, this is bad. This is really bad. Robin's eyes widened. She immediately grabbed his arm, trying to ground him. Kody, who? Who is coming after you? But he didn't answer. Instead, he stood up, began pacing back and forth, running his hands through his hair like a man who had just watched everything collapse. Within hours, the tension spread beyond the house. Word reached the older kids first. They exchanged messages in a group chat, yes, the same group chat Kody has never been invited to join. Some asked if the rumors were true. Others laughed it off at first, until they realized this wasn't typical Kody drama. Christine was one of the first adults to hear about the situation. And according to a close friend, her reaction was simple, I'm not surprised. Something like this was bound to happen. Janelle, on the other hand, had a more emotional response. She reportedly said, I hope he's okay, but I'm not getting involved this time. I can't keep cleaning up his messes. Even Mary, who has spent years trying to keep some kind of peace, didn't rush to Kody's side. She simply shrugged and told a friend, he's been ignoring warning signs for years. Sooner or later, reality catches up. And that's when viewers started noticing something strange online. Multiple fan pages began circulating screenshots, rumors, and whispers. Something had happened, something big. Something tied to money, trust, and a secret Kody thought he could keep buried forever. For the first time in years, Kody Brown wasn't in control. Not of his family. Not of his image. And certainly not of the storm heading his way. But the real shock came when a source close to the situation revealed exactly what triggered the crisis in the first place. And Kody's reaction? It said everything. Hours after the initial panic, the truth finally began to leak. And when it did, everything suddenly made sense. According to multiple insiders, the message Kody received wasn't just a random text. It was a notification he had been dreading for months. A document. A confirmation. A notice he thought, he hoped, would never reach the public. But now? There was no stopping it. The crisis began with a single line at the top of the message, your information has been submitted for review. Those 8 words were enough to shake Kody to his core. Sources say the situation involved financial discrepancies, old agreements, and a trail of decisions Kody had been making quietly, decisions he assumed no one would ever question. But someone did question them. And that someone had proof. A close family friend claimed, Kody always thought he could outsmart the system, but this time, the paper trail caught up. For years, Kody believed he could manage things behind closed doors, moving money here, promising things there, shifting responsibilities, shifting blame, and shifting finances in ways that even his wives couldn't fully track. But the message he received suggested that someone had finally exposed the pattern. And here's where it gets worse. Insiders say this wasn't just about paperwork. It wasn't just about money. It was about trust. Apparently, someone close to the family, someone Kody never expected, had submitted details, screenshots, and records. Enough to raise serious questions. Enough to ignite an official review. And enough to send Kody into a full-blown meltdown. One insider claimed, he whispered, "I knew this day would come." He looked terrified. Robin reportedly rushed to his side, trying to calm him. "Kody, listen to me, we can fix this. You haven't done anything wrong." But Kody didn't respond. He just stared forward, silent, as if every fear he'd ever buried had suddenly come alive in front of him. Meanwhile, online activity around the Browns exploded. Fans picked up on the strange silence from Kody. Robin's face in recent photos looked tense. And Christine had just posted a cryptic message that said, "Truth has a way of showing up, even when people least expect it." Comment sections lit up. Speculation grew. TikTok and Reddit threads went wild. Everyone could feel something was happening, but nobody expected the next development. Because the question everyone was asking was simple: who exposed him? And when the answer finally surfaced, it stunned the entire fanbase. If you thought Kody's crisis couldn't get worse, you're about to see why insiders are calling this the moment everything shifted. Up until now, no one knew who had submitted the documents that triggered the investigation. Fans guessed Christine. Some blamed Janelle. Others pointed fingers at extended family. But according to a source close to the situation, the truth is far more explosive. The person who exposed Kody was someone still inside his trust circle. Someone he believed would never go against him. Someone he thought he still controlled. And when the name leaked, everyone's jaw dropped. It wasn't an ex-wife. It wasn't a disappointed child. It wasn't even a distant relative. According to insiders, the submission came from someone currently living under Kody and Robin's roof. That revelation alone sent shockwaves through the entire family dynamic. Robin reportedly reacted first, whispering, "No, that can't be true. They wouldn't do this. Kody, tell them it's wrong." But Kody didn't deny it. He didn't speak at all. In fact, witnesses say he just sat there silent, staring at the floor, while Robin demanded answers from him like she was trying to force reality to change. One insider shared, "You could see it on Kody's face. He knew exactly who did it. And he knew why." So, what would drive someone living with Kody and Robin to secretly report financial details? According to the report, the motive came down to fear and self-preservation. Someone in the house felt that Kody's decisions were spiraling out of control. That things could collapse at any moment. And they didn't want to go down with him. So they protected themselves by submitting everything they had. The impact on the household was immediate. Sources say Robin began pacing around, saying, "We trusted them. Kody, we trusted them. Why would they betray us like this?" But deep down, Kody knew the answer. He had pushed too hard. Ruled too intensely. Made decisions without considering how they affected the people closest to him. Eventually, someone snapped. Someone finally said, "No more." Fans online erupted with theories. Was it an older child? A teen? A relative staying temporarily? Someone helping around the house? But the biggest clue came from a cryptic social media post made the same day the news broke. A simple message: sometimes protecting yourself means telling the truth. But the identity of the person wasn't even the biggest shock. The real shock, the thing that truly set the crisis ablaze, was what the documents revealed about Kody's behavior over the past several months. And that left everyone stunned. What came next is what insiders are calling the moment Kody realized the damage was beyond repair. Because the documents submitted didn't just expose a mistake. They exposed a pattern. According to sources familiar with the situation, the report contained financial inconsistencies tied to multiple accounts, unexplained withdrawals made during the height of the family breakup, money transfers that didn't match Kody's public explanations, promises he allegedly made to certain family members, and records showing who really paid for what during the chaos of the last few years. And that wasn't even the worst part. The documents allegedly showed how long Kody had been hiding certain details, and who he hid them from. One insider said it clearly: when he saw the evidence laid out in front of him, he knew there was no way to talk his way out of this one. For years, Kody has crafted a very specific narrative: he was the responsible one. The one who carried the financial weight. The one who made the sacrifices. The one who struggled while the wives didn't contribute. But the submitted records painted a very different picture. According to the breakdown, there were moments where Christine paid more than she admitted. Janelle covered costs Kody claimed were mutual. Mary contributed to loans she was never credited for, and Robin received financial protections no one else got. An insider close to the review said, "It was the kind of information that flips everything upside down." But the real bombshell came in the last section of the report, a section labeled simply, "Future Liability Concerns." This is where things took a truly shocking turn. The report suggested that Kody had been planning something, a move or a shift that would have financially impacted someone else in the house. Someone who would have been responsible for the fallout, even though they had no knowledge of what Kody was doing. And when that person discovered the plan, they realized they needed to act. And fast. That's when Kody's reaction said everything. Witnesses claim he sat back, closed his eyes, and whispered, "Why would they do this to me?" But insiders say the real question wasn't, why would they do this? The real question was, why did Kody think they wouldn't? The moment the truth began spreading beyond the house, beyond the inner circle, is when chaos erupted across the entire Brown family. Even people who hadn't spoken to Kody in months suddenly wanted answers. Kody thought the crisis would stay quiet. He was wrong. Very wrong. Because the moment word leaked that something serious was happening, the Brown family did what they always do when things explode: they talked. And this time? They talked without him. According to a source close to the older kids, the siblings were the first to mobilize. Within hours, a private group call was formed, one that did not include Kody or Robin. On that call were names Kody never expected to unite: Logan, Madison, Garrison, Hunter, Michael T, Aspen, even Paydon and Isabel. People who disagreed for years suddenly had one thing in common: they wanted the truth. One insider said, it was the first time they were all on the same page. They knew something big was happening, and they weren't going to sit quietly. Christine joined that call later, not as a mediator, not as a comforter, but as someone who had been burned before. She reportedly said, "We deserve to know what's going on. And if this affects any of my kids, I'm stepping in." Janelle was quieter, but more intense. She allegedly told the group, "If he's been doing things behind our backs again, I'm done protecting him." But the real surprise was Mary. After years of silence, years of keeping distance, years of choosing quiet over conflict, Mary finally spoke with a clarity nobody expected. A source who overheard the call said Mary's voice didn't shake once. She said, "I know Kody better than most. If he's panicking, it's because he did something he can't explain away. And if someone in that house felt scared enough to report him, we need to take that seriously." Those words hit hard. Because Mary has spent decades defending, excusing, or minimizing Kody's behavior. For her to say this? It meant things were far worse than anyone imagined. Meanwhile, inside Kody and Robin's house, the atmosphere was described as tense enough to cut with a knife. Robin was reportedly pacing non-stop, crying off and on, repeating the same line: "This isn't fair, this isn't fair, this shouldn't be happening." Kody wasn't angry anymore. He wasn't yelling. He wasn't raging. He was quiet. Still. Almost numb. Someone close to him said, "I've never seen him look so defeated." Not even during the divorces. He knew people were talking. He knew the kids were coordinating. He knew the picture he'd built, the narrative he controlled for so long, was slipping through his fingers. And that's when the unexpected confrontation happened. Someone from the family, someone Kody didn't expect, called him directly. A child who rarely speaks to him. A child who has every reason to stay silent. But they didn't. The call reportedly lasted less than 4 minutes, and left Kody white as a sheet. Because the first thing they said was, "Dad, we know." And the second thing they said was, "You need to tell the truth." Kody's reaction? It said everything. His voice cracked. He stuttered. He tried to deflect. He tried to blame others. But the person on the other end of the line simply replied, "No more. We're not doing this anymore." It was the first time anyone in the family had confronted him directly during this crisis. And it wouldn't be the last. Because the next confrontation was with someone Kody never thought would challenge him. Someone he always believed he still controlled. There was one person Kody thought would never push back, never question him, never stand against him. It was Robyn. For years, she had been his loyal ally. The one who defended him. The one who justified his actions. The one who softened his image when things went wrong. But this crisis? This shook even her. According to a source inside the home, the confrontation started late at night, hours after the phone call from the older child left Kody rattled and silent. Robyn approached him carefully at first. Soft, cautious, trying to keep her voice steady. "Kody, whatever is going on, you need to tell me the truth." But Kody didn't answer. He just stared at the table, hands shaking slightly. So Robyn tried again, this time with a little more force. "Kody, look at me." Still nothing. That's when something shifted in her tone. Witnesses say the timid, emotional Robyn disappeared. And the woman who replaced her? She was furious. She slammed her hand on the table and demanded, "Kody, I deserve to know what you've done." Kody finally looked up. But instead of explaining, he did what he always does, he tried to shift blame. He muttered, "This isn't my fault. Someone is targeting me." But Robyn wasn't buying it. Not this time. She stepped forward, tears in her eyes but anger in her voice. "Kody, stop. You've been hiding things. You've been stressed for months. You've been making decisions I didn't know about. You told me everything was fine, was that a lie?" Kody froze. Silence. And inside that silence, Robyn's worst fears were confirmed. A source close to the situation said her voice broke when she whispered, "Did you put me at risk, Kody? Did you put our kids at risk?" Kody didn't deny it. He didn't defend himself. He didn't reassure her. He just stared at the floor. And that silence? That was the answer. Robyn collapsed into a chair, covering her face with her hands. She wasn't crying because she believed he was innocent. She was crying because, for the first time, she realized she wasn't protected either. Insiders say Robyn said something that stunned Kody into complete stillness. She whispered, "I thought leaving the others meant our life would be stable, safe. But now I see, you're capable of destroying everything we built." According to witnesses, that was the moment Kody snapped. He jumped up, shouting, "You don't understand. I didn't have a choice. I was trying to protect this family." But Robyn shot back, "Protect us? You kept secrets that could tear us apart. You left me blind." Their voices echoed through the house, a house that was once quiet, controlled, and carefully managed. Now, it was chaos. And in that chaos, something became painfully clear, for the first time ever. Robyn wasn't standing beside Kody. She was standing against him. She ended the argument by saying, "You need to fix this. And if you can't, then you need to face the consequences alone." Kody's reaction? He didn't yell. He didn't argue. He didn't even try to win her back over. He just sank into a chair, hands shaking, eyes wide, realizing the crisis had spread further than he ever imagined. Because the next blow wouldn't come from a child. Or a sibling. Or a distant family member. It would come from someone who knew Kody's patterns better than anyone. And she was done staying quiet. As Kody sat there, emotionally drained, surrounded by silence and tension, another message came through. A message he never expected. A message from someone who had stayed quiet for far too long. It was from Mary. Not a short text. Not a vague comment. Not a neutral update. This was a message filled with clarity, boundaries, and years of buried truth finally rising to the surface. According to a source who saw the message, the first line was icy, "I heard what's happening. And before you say anything, I'm not coming to fix it." Those words alone hit Kody harder than any confrontation that day. But she wasn't done. Mary continued, "You taught me that when you're hurting, I should stay quiet. When you're angry, I should stay calm. When you break something, I should pretend it wasn't broken. I'm not doing that anymore." For a moment, Kody couldn't breathe. This wasn't the Mary he remembered, the one who tolerated, endured, and obeyed. This was a woman who had outgrown him. She went on, "Whatever you're facing now, it's not my burden. You made decisions without us. You hid things from us. You ignored warnings. And now the consequences are here." Insiders say Kody looked as if someone had punched the air out of his lungs. But the next line? That was the one that crushed him. "And Kody, you treated me like I didn't exist. So do not look for me now." Mary had never spoken this directly. Never confronted him so bluntly. Never closed the door so firmly. Robin reportedly read the message over Kody's shoulder, her mouth falling open. But the message wasn't just anger. It wasn't vicious. It wasn't petty. It was truth. Truth that had been building for years. Mary ended the message with a final statement that left the entire Brown family stunned. "Your crisis is the result of choices. Not accidents. Not betrayal. Choices. And until you learn that, you will keep losing people." She didn't hit send in anger. She hit send because she was finally free. Kody slumped in his seat. Stunned. Defeated. Unable to say a single word. According to someone present, it was like watching a man realize he didn't just lose a wife. He lost his final shield. And while that message shook him, the next blow came from someone far younger, someone who never expected to speak up, yet couldn't stay silent anymore. And that confrontation would finally break what little stability Kody had left, just when Kody thought the worst was over, when he thought he could process Mary's message, Robin's anger, and the silent judgment of the older kids. That's when the final blow came. And it came from someone he never imagined would confront him. One of his younger children. A child who still lives close enough to see the tension, close enough to hear the whispers, close enough to sense something was terribly wrong. According to an insider, the child walked into the room cautiously, holding a phone, hands shaking, but eyes determined. They didn't yell. They didn't cry. They didn't accuse. Instead, they said one sentence that shattered Kody completely. "Dad, why is everyone saying you hurt us?" Witnesses say Kody froze, like his entire body turned to stone. He'd faced adult criticism before. He'd brushed off the older kids. He'd argued with the wives. But this? This was a direct question from a child who still believed he could be a hero. A question he couldn't dodge. Couldn't spin. Couldn't reframe. Because children don't ask for explanations. They ask for truth. Kody's voice cracked as he tried to respond. "I didn't hurt anyone," he whispered. I was just trying to protect this family. I was doing my best. People are lying, they're twisting things." But the child shook their head. "No, Dad. Everyone's saying it. The other kids are saying it. Mom is upset. People online are talking about you. And you look scared." "Why?" That was it. The moment Kody's carefully constructed world collapsed. Insiders say his face broke, not in anger, but in pure, unmistakable guilt. He tried to speak again, but nothing came out. For the first time, he had no script, no excuses, no manipulations. The child continued quietly, "Did you do something wrong?" Kody grabbed the edge of the table as if he was losing balance. A witness said his hands were trembling violently. He whispered, "I didn't mean to, not, I didn't do it. Not, this is a misunderstanding. Not, they're lying. Just, I didn't mean to." And that was the moment the child stepped back, eyes wide, heartbroken, realizing the truth adults had known for years. Kody Brown was not the man he pretended to be. Not the strong leader. Not the wise patriarch. Not the protector of his family. He was a man who made choices without thinking, and now everyone else was paying the price. The child quietly left the room. Robin followed them, tears in her eyes. And Kody? He collapsed into the nearest chair, burying his face in his hands. A source close to the home described the moment. It wasn't anger anymore. It wasn't defensiveness. It was the look of a man realizing he lost the one thing he thought he still had, his children's belief in him. But the crisis was far from over. Because the next day, the situation took a turn Kody never expected. A turn that would take this crisis from personal to public. By the next morning, the air inside Kody and Robin's home was thick with tension, so heavy that even the youngest kids were whispering instead of speaking. But outside the walls of that house? The storm had already begun. Because while Kody was still trying to piece himself together, the story broke. Publicly. A Reddit post. A leaked screenshot. A vague comment from a family member. And a popular sister wives commentary channel that connected the dots. Within hours, the crisis Kody tried to keep hidden was everywhere. Twitter. Instagram. TikTok. YouTube. Fan forums. Entertainment sites. All repeating the same headline, something big is happening inside the Brown family. Kody discovered it the way he discovers everything, through his phone. He walked into the living room holding his phone like it was burning his hand. His voice was sharp, panicked. "Robin, it's online. It's everywhere." Robin took the phone and gasped, her hand covering her mouth. Everywhere she looked, people were talking. Speculating. Analyzing. Judging. Sharing clips, photos, theories, and leaked messages. Even people who hadn't watched Sister Wives in years were suddenly invested. One insider said, Kody kept repeating the same words, "They can't know this, they can't know this," like he was losing his mind. But it was too late. A popular commentary account posted, "Something serious is happening with Kody." And his reaction says everything. The post went viral. Thousands of comments poured in. People were furious, confused, shocked. Then Christine posted something. A simple quote on her Instagram story, "Truth can be painful, but pain creates change." Fans instantly knew it was connected. Next, Janelle shared a sunrise photo with the caption, "Peace comes when you stop carrying what isn't yours." And that was all it took. Kody watched in horror as fans pieced together the details. One comment summed it up perfectly, "If even Christine and Janelle are hinting, this crisis must be real." Robin started crying again, saying, "What are we going to do? How do we make this stop?" But Kody wasn't answering. He was staring at the screen, at the comments, the whispers, the anger, each word tearing apart the image he spent years constructing. One source claims he whispered, "This is the end. They're going to destroy me." But the truth was far more painful. Kody destroyed himself. With secrecy. With arrogance. With decisions he thought no one would question. And now? Those decisions were public property. Everywhere he turned, the same question appeared, what did Kody do? Why is the family reacting like this? Why is he hiding? What crisis is he facing? He tried to send a message to one of the older kids. No response. He tried calling Mary. Straight to voicemail. He tried texting Christine. Message left unread. He even tried reaching out to Janelle, the one person who always gave him grace. She replied with just 4 words, "Fix it yourself, Kody." According to insiders, that broke him more than anything else. In the final moments of the day, Kody sat alone on the edge of his bed, Robin in another room trying to calm a crying child, while he stared at the floor, whispering to himself, "How did it get this bad?" But everyone else already knew the answer. It got this bad because he ignored warnings. He hid the truth. He broke trust. He underestimated his family. And he thought he would never face consequences. Now the crisis was public. His family was done protecting him. His children were watching him fall apart. And the world was talking. Kody Brown, once the center of a massive family empire, now faced the one thing he could never control, reality. A reality that exposed his choices. A reality that shattered his narrative. A reality he could no longer escape. And his reaction, the panic, the fear, the collapse, said everything. The patriarch had finally fallen.